It's often said that the 3.0 liter Duramax fuel savings will offset the overall cost of how much the truck is. But what I'm going to do here is compare actual maintenance costs, total operating costs of all three of these, the 5.3 liter, 3.0, and the 6.2 liter. So what I selected was a 2024 LT Trail Boss because I believe this is the best equipped truck right there that most people are after. I know everything's going to vary, but this is what I'm going to base my numbers off of. I'm going to go by the MSRP right here on each of these. And you see we have the 5.3, 3.0, 6.2 liter. But then what I'm also going to do is use the fuel economy numbers from fueleconomy.gov. So that way we have a metric to go off of. And they've already done the work for me. Annual fuel cost right here, $28.50, $26.50, $39.50, and this is the 5.3 right here, 3.0, and we have the 6.2, and you'll see right here that I selected the mud terrain tires option, so that coincides with our mud terrain option of the LT Trail Boss. Now going off of these numbers right there and then taking this, what we're going to do is we're going to see what it costs for 75,000 miles, which is going to be a 5-year span because we're going off of 15,000 mile annual miles right here just for calculations purposes. And then we're also going to do a 10,000 or a 10-year 150,000 mile. Now this is going to go deep because I do know that there's added costs with the diesel, and the 5.3 right here is honestly, spoiler alert, this one's going to be your cheapest right here. And I'm going to show you why. And the 6.2 gets out of control really quickly. But let's just go straight into the numbers since we know that this is going to be the cost of the vehicle. I'm going to assume that we are paying off this vehicle completely within the 5-year span, and then the numbers will assume that you're paying it off within that 10-year span. And we're also going to take the fuel numbers right here. So what I have, 24 1500 5.3 liter uses $14,250 worth of fuel. We have the 3.0 right here that comes in $13,250 of fuel. And then our big 6.2 liter that requires premium fuel, that comes in at $19,750 in fuel. Now, of course, what you're saying is, oh, well, the diesel is going to need the DEF fluid. Absolutely. So I did some calculations here, and we're going to base it off of right here, this $12.99 number. This is average in my area as well. I like to go to Costco and get my DEF fluid, and it comes in the 2.5 gallon jug, which puts us at $5.20 per gallon. Now, in my usage on the previous truck that I had with the LZ0 engine, I was averaging 1.25 gallons for every 1,000 miles. So using those numbers, I come out to $6.50 per 1,000 miles, which puts us at $487.50 for DEF usage. So adding that to our total cost, now we need to go into maintenance because that's something that is a big concern. Obviously, your diesel is going to be more costly to maintain as far as oil goes because it takes a special oil, but we'll get into that in just a second. So what I'm doing here, 5W20 or 0W20, excuse me, oil right here. Now every oil change, you're going to need 8 quarts of oil and an oil filter, which we got the oil filter right here. So we're using these numbers to come up with our calculations. And the way that I calculated that, you're going to need an oil change every 7,500 miles. So with the cost of this jug being $23.78 and 5 quarts, that comes out to $4.76 per quart. Your PF63 oil filter comes in at $8.92, which means 10 oil changes or 80 quarts of oil plus 10 oil filters, $470 for 10 oil changes over 5 years. Now, when we go into the Duramax, this is where it gets a little bit more costly, but what I have here is this kit. Now, I have links to all of this down below in the description because that's where I put links for all this stuff. So if you're interested in any of these full kits right here, this is a good value. $77, you get your 7 quarts of oil that you need for your truck, and then you get your oil filter. Now, as you can see, I'm pricing this out as if one were doing their own maintenance. And so basically, total oil changes for 5 years, we're looking at $855.50. You can see that's quite a bit more than our gasoline trucks, and that's where the costs start to add up. Now, don't forget that we also have a fuel filter on this. And again, assuming that we are doing our own maintenance, we're coming in at $25.41 per fuel filter. Super easy. I've got videos on how to do this stuff. But that's $50.82 right there for 2 fuel filter changes. Now, you can go roughly 30,000 miles, and that's what I went with, 30,000 miles. So at 60,000 miles, you're going to be doing your second fuel filter. Let's go back to the truck. So now what we did with the 5.3, the total cost for this truck over the course of 5 years is going to cost $77,130. This 3.0 Duramax diesel over the course of 5 years, $77,848.82. Your 6.2 liter, $85,395. That's going to be the total cost of the truck, the maintenance. Now, obviously, I did not factor in tires or air filters or anything that's like regular that all three of these trucks are going to be using, because I think the cost is going to be the same, so it doesn't really change anything as far as a comparison standpoint. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, that was over the course of 75,000 miles and 5 years. So what's it going to jump to when we go to 10 years, 150,000 miles? Well, for the 5.3, we're going to add another 14,250 in fuel, another 470 in maintenance, and we're also going to add in $56 in spark plugs. And the reason behind that is $7 for a spark plug right here. You have 8 of them. That comes out to $56. You're going to be doing that at 100,000 miles. So we're going to go ahead and include that into the cost of the truck right here. That brings us to $91,906 for 10 years. Now we're going to go into the 3.0 Duramax diesel. All right, so we have another $13,250 in fuel. We have another $487.50 of DEF, $855.50 in maintenance cost. Our fuel filter expense went up a little bit. That's going to bring us to a total of 5 fuel filter changes, which adds $76.23 to our 3.0 Duramax diesel. That brings us a total cost of $92,518.05. Now, let's not discuss the oil pump belt. We'll get to that in just a moment. Moving on to the 6.2, we're doing another $19,750 in fuel, $470 in maintenance, $56 in spark plugs for this as well, because 100,000 miles. I did not factor in the spark plug wires because I'm assuming that those are going to be still in good condition. That brings us to a total of $105,671 total cost for this 6.2 liter. Now that brings us to the 5.3 is the best value, because total cost of everything, the life of it, $91,906 over the course of 10 years, 150,000 miles. So the other wild card here is this 3.0 Duramax diesel has an oil pump belt, and there is a maintenance interval of 150,000 miles if you have a 20 to a 22.5 Duramax diesel. Now in 23, they went up to a 200,000 mile interval. So those numbers did not go into this calculation because this is a 24, so that's going to be due at 200,000 miles. But that's roughly a $3,000 maintenance bill right there, and I do have a video on that if that's throwing some caution your way. Let me know what you think about these numbers. Did I help you out on what you were looking for as far as price comparisons go? Did I prove some points? The 3.0 diesel guys, do you guys think you still have the good value? I will say I have the 3.0 Duramax diesel, and I absolutely love it. I'm on my 5th, and we're going to continue using them. Till next time, see ya.